All right, everyone, the pre-market's underway, and I got to tell you, things are softening just a little bit, but there's two big catalysts coming up at 8:30 and then 8:40. So we actually have PPI numbers coming out at 8:30, and then at 8:40 is when Jerome Powell comes out and speaks, and the market is just absolutely nervous over what exactly he's going to say, that unknown part of it, and that really could send the market in either direction. So I'm going to talk about both directions that we could potentially see as a result of what he says. And without knowing what he says, I don't know how big a movement's going to be, but I will say the critical areas that we should absolutely be watching for the NASDAQ 100, the S&P 500, Russell 2000. We'll also talk about NVDA, Tesla, Bitcoin, and then a couple of altcoins that are out there as well. You XRP fans, SUY, anybody following SUI? We'll talk about that as well, and then give an update on ETH's price progress, because crypto never sleeps, so it's always worth updating. So guys, without further ado, let's pop up QQQ for you. So you can see where we closed at yesterday. We closed up here at 518.68, and then the pre-markets were down at 515 at the moment, giving back just a little bit. And I said that we had a lot of reasons to believe that we would see a little bit of softening going into today or tomorrow. And so we see a little bit of that softening. Pay special attention to this gap. If you've been watching my channel, I keep talking about it. This is one that if the market does sell down, we want to watch for that gap fill. And if I take down the technicals and just show you the moving average part of this as the indicators, this is the 200-day streaking across your screen this way. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. There we go. So that 200-day happens to be at about 490. So the market could be like, oh my gosh, over some reason, maybe Jerome Powell says something that kind of rattles the market. But watch for the 200-day to be held if that happens. So I don't know that that happens, but if it does, the 200 is important for us, because if the 200 holds out as support, we already have the 20 crossing over the 50. That's a huge move to see what happens. I talked about what would happen and should we see that cross, and it crossed. And look at the 3 previous trading days that we've had so far. The 50 over the 200, the 20 over the 200 is even better to see that cross up above the 200-day to match the price action being above the 200-day. That puts us back into full-on bull territory should that happen. So staying up above that 200-day is hypercritical. Now, if instead Jerome Powell says something, or maybe PPI tells us something, or maybe both things tell us things that are very, very favorable, guys, the all-time high, I got to tell you, the all-time high then is under threat for being overtaken. And that's something that I think that we can all get behind. So that all-time high happens to be, I'll click right up here, that 540.01. So we're kind of equidistant from where we're at right now, either the run up or that run back down. And I think that if you pay attention to the 4 pillars that I've been talking about on my channel, makes a lot of sense to see what could cause us to have that rise or that fall. We're looking for strong GDP to prop up markets, easy monetary policy, which Jerome Powell has a lot to do with. And he speaks today, like I said, at 8:40. And then also we have subdued inflation, PPI, being reported today. And then a strong labor market, which is the last of the 4 pillars that we want to see to prop up markets and see those bulls continue to run. So any infringement on those pillars, anything to make us think that those are cracking, even if it's in the short term and just like, oh my gosh, kind of moment, that's what can send us back down. So that's what we're listening for. If we go over to SPY here, you can see yesterday kind of getting resisted again. And if we mark the new all-time high, the all-time high for SPY here, tracking the S&P 500. Come on. There we go. That's the tool that we want. Mark that all-time high, 611.39. That's what we want to sit on top of. That's where that is. And it is a little bit more of a stretch to get up there. Tech's been on a bit of a run, and the NASDAQ 100 is tech heavy. So we're a little bit closer to the all-time high than what we have for the S&P, at least on a distance type basis, if you will. So if we go to IWM, we're actually close to having that gap down here that we see. Well, we could potentially fill that sometime soon. If we're going to fill the gap, or at least soften some more on the NASDAQ 100 or the S&P 500, we're even closer to filling that gap here on the Russell 2000 stocks. We don't yet have the 50 and 20 cross, but that just means that bullishness could be yet to come. We actually have rising momentum. We didn't touch the overbought territory. And if we go out to the weekly chart, the RSI is just about to cross 50 on a weekly basis. That's longer term bullishness. And if we go out to the monthly chart, we're actually at 51. So dipping down just below bullish territory from momentum and then back into it. This could be a critical moment for the Russell 2000 stocks, according to the momentum indicator that we have. We have daily that's bullish but not overbought, weekly that's just about to go bullish, and monthly that's just into bullish territory. So weekly and monthly, not anywhere near overbought status. So just kind of lagging behind and waiting for that moment of easy monetary policy, subdued inflation to continue, strong labor market to continue, there we go, and then GDP to continue to show strengthening and less chance of a recession. And I think that the Russell 2000 stocks for us, they have a huge potential to just keep on either creeping up and making those slow and steady gains, or that it's going to have that just massively wild week or so of just massive outperformance. Under the right conditions, it can definitely happen. And under the right conditions, it can definitely pull back as well. I'll keep on keeping track of it, but in terms of right now, where we sit right now, I think it's going to be that slow, steady climb upwards until we know more information, in which case I'll bring it back here to you. And if you guys want to see the information earlier or see more in-depth information, come on over to the Discord. Links in the description. Sign up using the earner tier so you get unrestricted access. It's me, it's other panel experts over there, it's Stockmo over there. It's a joint Discord. Thousands of members in that community, tons of products and services to keep you in the loop and informed and watching for when those big moves are coming, whether it's us specifically bringing it to you or it's the tools that are over there for you, the Breadbot tool that's over there, the AI tools that are over there, the advanced charting tools that are over there waiting for you, the community that's over there waiting for you, helping you in your pursuit towards financial freedom and building alpha into your portfolio. Like I said, guys, links in the description for the Discord. And last thing, down in the description as well, you'll also find the link for Stockmo Academy. Stockmo being a personal friend of mine, and both of us being career educators, me with having a passion for finance, and also my doctorate in education, my master's degree in instructional technology. I can tell you from a professional standpoint that those courses are rock solid and just put together. I wouldn't change a single thing about them, that they just bring dividends of value to you through the information that they provide, including the bread recipe trading strategy that I personally use, best I've ever found. And then also it tells you about how to do technical analysis. And then also there's an options course as well. You can buy the courses individually. You can bundle them. You get lifetime access. Bundling them saves you a ton of cash. And then also if you use the code word doctor for any combination, which way that you buy those courses, DOCTOR, that's also going to save you a ton more. Guys, let's get back into the charts here. So let's kick things off in the second round here with NVIDIA. I talked about this rising wedge pattern in yesterday's video, said that this is a bearish reversal pattern. We have a drop in the momentum that we have on the 30-minute chart. So this could be just a near-term pullback, if you will. We'll see what happens around that 8:30, 8:40 hour, and then what the market brings to us. You can see we're already trading down below that. Tesla in the 30-minute chart, I said this yesterday in my video as well. Rising wedge pattern that we have, bearish reversal pattern, and we have bearish divergence, just like what we did with NVIDIA when we look at Tesla's 30-minute chart. So once again, that intraday kind of softening, if you will, that I said that the technicals were suggesting that we could see some softness today in the market, possibly tomorrow. Today happens to be that day so far. So we'll see how far Tesla pulls back. Right now it's at 336. It could pull all the way back to this 317 to 314 range. NVIDIA, in terms of pulling back, it could hang around where it's at right now. I think there's a lot of excitement, especially with earnings coming up in the next 2 weeks. We could see a further run going. If it pulls back to 125 and holds it, that's actually a pretty strong thing for us. We need to be watchful for that, especially because if I have my ducks in a row here, and I believe that I do, let's put those down and bring this up. There we are. 125.20 happens to be the 200-day for NVIDIA. That's this moving average coming right across here. So as long as we stay on top of that, even if the market kind of gets roasted, I don't anticipate that it does, but just in case it does, 125 is that number that we want to hold. We actually have that cross of 20 over the 50, and then we want to see that golden cross moment. And I think that NVIDIA actually has that potential to actually, well, we'll see, because I'll put myself back up here on camera because I'm so pretty and because I think it's that important that I tell you that NVIDIA's got a lot going for it, especially if the trade sanctions with China continue to kind of pull back and ease and subside, allowing them a freer trade with China, allowing them to offer more products and services within China, could fill out the top line handsomely. And then with about 70 to 75% gross profit margin, that's also huge. And then a lot of that translates down into the bottom line profit numbers themselves, the net profits that we see from NVIDIA, because China was already a huge part before the trade sanctions took place. So if those are eased a little bit, allowing freer trade, easier trade with China, that could also translate pretty well. Plus the news that we have coming out of UAE, looking into huge purchases further into more sovereign AI for NVIDIA. That can be even better. So I think there's a ton of good things coming for us for NVIDIA. I think there's enough news here to potentially take us back to the all-time high that we have on NVIDIA chart. So at least during regular trading hours, let me put this up here for you, happens to be at 153.12. keep on the lookout for that. News could be good enough that maybe even allows us to sit on top of it and experience further bullishness that sets us up to that 160, 170 range that I talked about in quarters past, if you will, that I think that if the growth story is there for NVIDIA, it could definitely happen. Bitcoin, rising wedge pattern that we actually broke out of the top of. We didn't necessarily have the same bearish divergence. Let's actually go out to the daily chart here, show this a little bit better for you. There we go. Sitting on top of it right now, holding on to these two trend lines is still very good for us, cooling down out of that overbought territory that you, if you will, on the RSI. We could definitely want to keep watching for that. And then going over to XRP. For XRP, we're up above the, well, every moving average that I have on here for you, except for maybe the 5-period EMA. We want to listen to what Powell has to say. Also news about an ETF coming out for XRP, confirmation of that ETF for XRP. That's going to be things that are going to be very good for it. And as Stockmo pointed out, there are lockup periods coming up for XRP that's going to dump more of the XRP token onto the market, but that's already known already. It's already priced in already. And so I think it's not going to be a huge downward catalyst, or if it is, dumps downward a little bit. I think that once the market sort of resolves that, and especially if we continue to see a further bull run in crypto, especially Bitcoin to new all-time highs, I think that's going to allow XRP to really pump beyond what it's at right now. And then we start to see that 340 price tag start to get tested again. And then I think that pushes us up next to the $4 mark if we can sit on top of 340. SUI also cooling down the rest of it. Another rising wedge pattern here. Some bearish divergence like we saw with Tesla and NVIDIA. Right now holding this bottom trend line. It's not a confirmed pattern until we fall out of the bottom of it. And it's even better if we retest resistance and then we can fall some more off of that. I still have my price target up here, 497. I think we could see some temporary pain, but I still think that we hit that price target coming up sometime in this run. And we'll see if that happens or not. We do have this resistance that I have here coded in red for you. And getting up over that, sitting on top of it, you'll notice we haven't been able to. Sitting on top of 419 is going to be huge for us for getting up to that 497 price tag for SUI. ETH, let's go out to the daily chart for ETH. There we go. And we'll take down the technicals because there's a lot there. But I just want you to see that 200-day for Ethereum is the thing that's buggering us right now. We need to get up on top of that. That's going to be huge for price action, pushing us up even further from where we're at right now. I think that $3,300 price tag is in the cards. I'll put the technicals back up just so you can see the numbers that I have on here for you. Bring them closer down to center screen. There you go, 3254 to 3383. Anywhere in there. That's a massive area of resistance for us, and we actually have the bull flag that could allow us to do it. Now, mind you, we do want to see continued strength with the crypto market. Bitcoin, we want to see recovering a little bit after whenever it's done digesting the most recent move and kind of settling, cooling off a little bit. We'll see if circumstances allow for it to continue back upward, and we do have a fairly good reason to believe that the crypto market isn't done moving upward yet. Even if it's taking a little bit of a breather. Come on, bulls, you got this. So guys, there's a lot of reasons to be hopeful in the market. I did talk about some short-term cooling. We'll see what PPI says. We'll see what Jerome Powell says, and we'll see what continued numbers that we see, such as Michigan consumer sentiment on Friday at 10 a.m. We'll see what that says, although it should be an improved number, I believe, based on the tariff news that we have and also the inflation reports that we've gotten. I think that we're going to get a better Michigan consumer sentiment, at least the initial estimate for whatever they call it, for this midpoint that we get before we get the final numbers from Michigan at the end of the month, when we're also going to get, by the way, the PCE numbers from the personal income and outlays report that gets put out for us. Guys, if you want to see more of my commentary, my analyses, my buys and sells, be part of a just massive and awesome community of people just pushing towards financial freedom, pushing towards finding alpha in their portfolios, pushing towards finding opportunities, because one person just isn't enough. There's a whole team, a whole community there surrounding you, waiting for you. Should you come on over and join us, the link's down in the description for the earner tier. And then, guys, also, don't forget about those courses through Stockmo Academy, being able to see what we see when we're looking at the charts and knowing options the way that we do. For example, those two courses, which cover both, and knowing what the bread recipe trading strategy is all about. That coursework, use the code word doctor, bundle the courses. That's going to get you the maximum savings for the best knowledge return dividends that you could expect. My friends, thank you very much for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.